Hello friends, we're trying something new here today on the channel, and I'm going to be recording one of the fan fictions that I have wrote. It is a Kiribaku fan fiction for the My Hero Academia world, and it was actually the first fan fiction that I ever wrote. Some of the tags for this are slow burn, mutual pining, tattoo shop and coffee shop, tattoo artist Bakugo Katsuki, insecure Kirishima Eijiro. Kirishima Eijiro is a good friend. Bakugo Katsuki is a good friend. They're so bad at talking, but so good together. Coffee shop owner Kirishima Eijiro, Kiribaku, emotional realizations, sunrises, soft Bakugo Katsuki, aged up characters, post high school, and first kiss. And the only characters that are in this fan fiction are Bakugo and Kirishima, and this is called What the Morning Gave Us, and it is written by me, Beauty and the Bookshelf, and you can find me on all my platforms, Instagram, YouTube, and AO3 as Beauty underscore and underscore the underscore bookshelf. All right, I hope you enjoy. All right, here's the summary. Across the street from Explosion Inc., the espresso always hits warmer and softer. Kirishima makes the coffee, Bakugo does the ink, and neither of them is great at saying what they really mean. But there was a morning once. Quiet, golden, real. Bakugo never forgot it. Kirishima never stopped needing it. This is the story of what stayed. Chapter 1. Opposites across the street. Bakugo point of view. The buzz of the tattoo gun was the only music Bakugo needed. It sang under his glove-covered hands, humming against the stretch of skin he was inking. The scent of antiseptic mixed with the metallic tang of ink in the air. The unmistakable smell of Bakugo's world. Somewhere in the back, a sad excuse for a coffee pot wheezed, filling the shop with the bitter smell of burnt sludge because crossing the street for the good stuff didn't always fit into his schedule. Nothing like the rich, warm kick of Kirishima's coffee. Just the bitter garbage he kept around to survive. Sunlight slashed through the blinds, striping the walls with an uneven gold and shadow, and dust floated lazily through the air like it had no respect for how damn focused he was. Hold still, he muttered, barely looking up. The guy in the chair flinched. Bakugo narrowed his eyes. You want a crooked dragon or what? No, the guy stammered. It's harder to stay still than I thought. Bakugo grunted, returning to the design. A sleek black dragon wrapping around the guy's forearm, scales sharp and tails flicking around the wrist. Bold, detailed. The kind of work that made Explosion Inc. what it was. Loud, proud, and booked 2 months out. He lived for this, but even he had to admit he was tired. The bell over the door jingled, and without even glancing up, Bakugo snapped, We're closed for walk-ins. Good thing I'm not coming in for ink, came a familiar, cheerful voice, though if I did, I'd totally get a tiny cup of coffee tattooed on my bicep. Classic. Bakugo didn't need to look up to know that Kirishima was grinning like an idiot in the doorway, probably holding 2 drinks, probably wearing that dumb apron with his cafe's rock-solid pun stitched on the front. Bakugo didn't smile, but his hands stilled for half a second, and that was saying something. Get in or get out, Red, he grumbled, setting the gun down to check his stencil lines. You're messing with my flow. Kirishima stepped inside with an exaggerated tiptoe. Don't let me throw off your genius. I just figured you forgot to eat again. He held out a cardboard tray with 2 coffees and a wrapped pastry. Bakugo eyed it. I didn't forget. You skipped, Kirishima said, already placing the tray on the counter like he owned the place. You always do when you got back-to-back clients. It's okay, man. That's what friends are for. Bakugo rolled his eyes, but he didn't argue. Not really. Not when the smell of coffee, good coffee, cut through the bitter backroom tar he passed off as coffee when convenience went out. Not when Kirishima looked like he walked straight out of a sunny poster for nice guys with warm smiles. Kirishima shot the client a thumbs up. Looking good, dude. You're in great hands. The guy grinned nervously. Yeah, he's kind of terrifying, but, in a professional way. Kirishima laughed. Bakugo muttered a curse under his breath. Kirishima point of view. The afternoon lull had set in at Rock Solid Cafe. The usual crowd had filtered out. Students with laptops, old ladies who came in for tea and stayed for the gossip, the one guy who played chess against himself and lost every time. Now it was just Kirishima behind the counter, wiping down surfaces that didn't need wiping and humming to the soft indie playlist he swore he didn't curate for maximum emotional damage. He glanced out the front window. Across the street, the sign for Explosion Inc. gleamed dully in the sun. He could barely make out Bakugo moving inside, hunched over his work like usual, focused, sharp, burning like a match that refused to die out even when the wind howled. Kirishima leaned against the counter, sipping his coffee. Bakugo had taken the drink earlier without a word. No thanks, no smile, just a grunt and a nod. But he drank it all. He always did. Kirishima smiled to himself. "You're welcome, you stubborn, spicy gremlin," he said to no one. He loved this part of the day, when the world slowed down just enough for him to think, to hope, maybe, if he let himself admit it, to wish. The bell above the door stayed quiet. The espresso machine hummed low and steady behind him. Kirishima looked back out the window. Bakugo was finally still in the shop, stretching his shoulders out like the tension in them might finally crack. Then movement. He was putting something away and starting to close the shop. Kirishima's heart gave a small, traitor skip. He turned back to the counter, wiping a non-existent smudge off the clean surface. "About time you gave it a rest, Blasty, and I guess that's my cue to pretend I wasn't watching," he murmured with a grin that he didn't bother hiding. He stayed where he was, just in case the door opened. All right, friends, thanks for checking out Chapter 1. Chapter 2 will be up soon. See you next time.